Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Miguel Holder,
And my name is Anisha Holder.
and this is Holding On to Faith with the Holders. Listen, we're excited right now because we're about to tell you about how we met and how we got married. This is a wonderful story. This is a testimony of how good God is. And I know a lot of people are looking for spouses, and they're probably wondering, like, yo, how did you meet? Like, you guys are like, oh my gosh, you guys look so good together and all of that stuff, right? But listen, if you want to know, just sit tight. Listen, grab a coffee, grab a snack, grab some tea, because listen, we're about to give you the tea right now. So if that's what you want, you need to listen to the whole video. So let's go. All right, so I think where we should start is we should give a little bit of a background of about ourselves and our personal faith journey and walk. And yeah, I think you should go first. So go ahead.
Yeah, so for those of you that are watching, my faith journey really started. I mean, I grew up in church most of my life, and I, went to church every other, Sunday, went to church on the holidays and everything like that, but I didn't have a relationship with the Lord. It was later on in my life, in my like right after college and university, that I was actually invited to a church service with my mom. And so at that church that I attended is actually when I gave my life to the Lord, and when I received the baptism of the Holy Spirit, and also was baptized at that church. And that was in June of 2016. And so after I had given my life to the Lord in June 2016, my faith journey really began. My relationship with the Lord really began. And so the Lord had transitioned me into many different phases, different things that I went through. But at a specific point in time in my life, the Lord had pressed on my heart to leave a specific area where I was in and to move back to my hometown in Toronto. And so when the Lord was leading me to leave from where I was to go back to Toronto is when the Lord started to deal with me based on what he was calling me to do. And so the Lord had pressed it upon me to go into the direction of ministry. I was seeking the Lord, continuously. I was surrendering unto his will for my life. And as my journey began with the Lord, this is kind of the direction as to where he was leading me to. And so, yeah.
All right. Listen, I'm a pastor's kid, so let's just get that out there. I'm a PK. Shout outs to all the PKs out there. So I grew up in church. I mean, my whole life. Tuesday, Bible study. Wednesday we did food bag. Thursday was choir practice. Friday was youth group. And then Sunday was obviously church with night service. So that was majority of my life. I'm actually the black sheep, so of the family at that time anyways. But I was the black sheep of the family. I didn't really have a relationship with God. My first encounter with an experience with God was when I was in my early 20s. I had an encounter with him, and I gave my life to him, but subsequently I turned away from him to go back into the world for several years. And flash forward, I got worn down, and like a prodigal son, I came back to my senses, and I gave my life back to the Lord. And from there, I had always had a calling. I had always known, especially from the first encounter with the Lord, that he wanted me to do ministry, but I didn't want to go into ministry, but I had known that he was calling me. And because of that, because of my original encounter, I now was fully surrendered to the Lord and his will. So I decided to go into ministry and do exactly what my father did. My father went to a Christian college and he graduated, and I decided to go to that same Christian college to get my degree, and that's where the story starts, right? And I think I'll let you go, and then I'll come in.
Yeah, so after the Lord had pressed on my heart to go back to my hometown and pressed upon my heart to get into ministry, it was not something that I desired to do at the time. I had moments and times where I was deciding actually to go to another school where it was like a 6-week course, where I thought, okay, like I could just, do a 6-week course and get whatever the Lord wanted me to do, and just kind of be in something that will be minimal, maybe just, be a part of a church, or just do something very simple. Didn't really want to go into full-time ministry. It was not my plan. But because the Lord had led me to come back to where I was originally and pressed upon my heart to do all of these things, I decided to surrender to what He wanted. And so I was actually at a church service that I attended, and I overheard someone talking about the college that I, was now aware of, which I never knew of, but a Christian college that was in my hometown. And so when I overheard this person talking about it, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, maybe I should look up this school and see what it is, because I never knew about the school, because I was planning on going somewhere else for the 6 weeks course. So when I looked up the school information, I was like, oh, maybe this is a school that I should attend or go to. So after going through the process of getting into this school, after I got accepted to be able to do my degree in divinity and theology. And so I went forward with going to the school and getting my degree. And this is where the story begins.
That's exactly how we met, right? Do you want to describe our friendship? I was your friend, right?
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about...
I was, right?
Yes, but, it didn't just... Let's get into the story.
Yeah, okay, let's go.
So after being at Christian college, I would see you in the hallways sometimes, of course, and he saw me in the hallways. But we were never actually... we never had a conversation with each other at all, really.
Wait, that's not true. Okay, go ahead.
At one point in time, I was actually praying for friends. Okay, and so that's kind of how it began. I was praying to the Lord for friends, and there was a group of friends that we had that we got at the college, or that I met at the college, and he was also, you were one of the friends.
I was one of the friends, right? And I was praying for friends too. I needed friends,
So
being a Christian is lonely.
So he was the one that was also part of the group of our friends that I was able to develop a friendship with. And so what was interesting, I think, is that during the time of us being friends, I didn't actually really talk to you. So we were in the same group of friends, but we didn't really talk to each other. So he actually thinks...
Yes and no, but okay, go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, in the beginning, we never really talked to each other. That's just the truth.
Yeah, but we're in the same group of friends, right? So
we were in the same... Okay, so let me just explain this, because you're... So we were in the same group of friends, but we did not really talk to each other. So the way that it happened is, after I met a few of the friends at the school, I decided to create a WhatsApp group chat. And in the WhatsApp group chat, all of us were actually in the group. I wouldn't really talk to him. He wouldn't really talk to me. But there was moments and times where we would obviously cross each other's path, but we wouldn't really speak. But it was after.
But wait, we were, but okay, hold on. I think that we were friends. The only reason I think the reason why we didn't talk to each other a whole lot at that time was because I thought you were mean and critical, because remember, like, we're telling you guys a story, but like, I was really rugged, right? So I'm a guy, like, when I was going to Christian college, I was wearing like tin boots and like varsity jackets, and hats and stuff like that. So I look kind of rugged, right? But I'm really living a consecrated life to the Lord. And I felt that she felt that I wasn't saved or something. And she just didn't want to be my friend or something. I'm telling you the truth.
No.
That's just how I felt, right? So yeah, we didn't talk a whole lot, based on what she's saying, but I still found her to be a friend. I just thought she was like one of those critical Christians, like those super like holy rollers. And I was just like, oh man. And I grew up in church, so I was like, oh man, if she's a holy roller, I don't know how the friendship is, in this group of friends is gonna work, because it's crazy even to imagine, right?
So what ended up happening is we had a group of friends, and so he was part of the group, but we never messaged each other in the WhatsApp group. It was really just everyone kind of sending scriptures, and he would send like memes and like different things in the group, and we would just kind of like chit chat through the group, but it wasn't like me and him personally talking. But however, after I think it was the summertime, I actually took a summer course.
Well, wait, we went bowling. Like, why are you skipped over the bowling? Like, we all went bowling as a group, all of our friends.
Okay, so
and we'll show you guys a clip. If you look in the video, I'll post it. We went bowling.
Okay, so let me just backtrack. So after I created I'm the one that created.
Well, I think it was important, so I just brought it up.
Okay, so after I created the WhatsApp group, I asked everyone if they wanted to go out bowling, because I wanted to actually go out with the friends at the Christian college. I wanted to be able to interact with people. So I did ask them to go to a bowling place. And when we ended up going to the bowling place, I was not there on time, even though I was the one that organized it. He was there first. And when he got there, he just literally called me and was like, well, where are you? All this type of stuff. He was like, being impatient about it. But then when I got there, I got there a little bit after, and then everything was fine. We went to the bowling, we had fun, all the friends were there. I think you're the one that bought the food for everybody. And,
yeah, I bought food for
everybody. Then everything was, it was a really fun night. So after we went to the bowling, my car I was trying to reverse out, and my car got stuck in between two vehicles. And so at the time, it was like obviously a brand new car, so I didn't know how to get it out. And I asked him to come and help me to get the car out. And at this point in time, just remember, we're just friends. So I'm not even thinking about anything, nothing like that. We're just literally friends. And I just asked him to reverse my car out. So then, yeah, he came, reversed my car out. All of that happened. And then, I guess that's kind of where the friendship began.
Yeah, she can't drive, and she needs glasses. She's not wearing her glasses, but yeah, she can't drive. And whatever. But yeah, so yeah, that's where our friendship, She needs glasses, so that's where our friendship began. And
you mean I have glasses?
No, you have glasses, but you don't wear them. So you actually need to wear your glasses.
Okay,
right?
This part can get taken out.
I'm leaving it in. I want you guys to look. I'm leaving this in because she's trying to take it out. All right. So no, our friendship. So our friendship. That's where our friendship kind of began, and then we went to summer school. So during summer school, that was kind of like mind you, when I was going to school, I talked to everybody in the school. I know the Bible says a man that has friends must show himself friendly. So I really wanted friends. So I used to talk to a lot of people in the school. But during the summertime, our summer courses, we started to like more hang out, just me and her. And it wasn't even like anything weird. Like it was at that time, it was like purely platonic, right? Because like I wasn't even looking at her like that. We were just friends. And start to hang out more, and then we would like do our school work together. We would like check in with each other, make sure we're doing okay. We actually started praying for each other because we were going through other things. We were going through a lot of things at that time. Even we had hopes on finding a godly spouse, and we would talk to each other about stuff like that, and talk about like people we've dated before and whatever, and how we're just hoping to find a godly spouse. So we were praying for each other during that time, consistently praying for each other, hoping that we would be able to find the right person.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Well, just to clarify here, both of us, I think we should talk about this part because it's kind of...
you can bring it up, but it
needs to be a part of it only because...
You were dating someone that wasn't saved.
Wait, hold on.
No. Let's just clear the air. So when we were friends, she was dating someone that wasn't saved. I wasn't dating anybody, right?
Okay, hold on. But one thing. Okay, let's just backtrack though.
Okay, fine. Go ahead.
Right. So a part of the story is just that when he talks about us praying for each other to meet a godly spouse, I was more praying for him because he was in a relationship that he wanted to work.
I wasn't in any relationship. You know that.
But it doesn't matter. You still wanted that to work.
Yeah, but I wasn't actually in a relationship.
It doesn't matter. But you were still hoping for that to work.
Yeah, I was hoping for the person to truly get saved and give their life to Jesus Christ and come around from their foolishness. But that's besides the point.
Yes, but hold on. But we have to just hold on. But we have to clarify.
Fine. Go ahead.
Let's just clarify, because it's not just we were praying for a godly spouse, but we were praying for our. I was in a relationship at the time, and he was in a like not in a relationship, but I guess hoping that relationship would have worked, or the person would have obviously come to the Lord.
Yes, we were praying that whatever situation that was there, or possibilities, we're praying for each other that it would work, and we had reasons why. And whatever reasons, but yeah, the situations were both with people that were not saved, right? And
yeah. So in the time I was first praying that he would be able to work things out, he asked me to pray for him, and I actually put his name in my diary at the time, because I had a little book diary that I would write to the Lord, like daily journals, and I would write to the Lord on specific things, and I had a prayer list of people that I was praying for. And he was one of the persons, the people that I was praying for. I put him on my list of praying for his for his old relationship or ex-relationship to be able to work for him, so that he can be able to, so that can happen for him.
So I could do ministry and everything.
Yeah, to get married, and that person would get saved, and hoping that would work for him. And so while I was praying for him, he was praying for me, that my relationship that I was currently in at the time would have worked, but that person was also unsaved. And so when that ended up happening, and we realized after that, I guess the Lord didn't really want that for us, that's when we started to pray for each other in terms of finding an actual spouse. And we still didn't think that it would be us. We were just praying I was praying for you to get a godly spouse, and you're praying for me to get a godly spouse, or for things to be able to work.
So we were basically, we were hoping, probably like a lot of people hope, we were hoping for unequally yoked relationships to work. And I think a lot of times, a lot of people are trying to make unequally yoked relationships work, and God doesn't even want that from us, especially because, like, think about it, we were becoming ministers. We're in Christian college, to go to college, to go out in pursuit of bringing the gospel to the whole world. And because we were trying to do that, it's like and which every believer is called to do. It made sense why we were in essence we're praying amiss, right? Because and I think that's where God had used our prayer for one another, because we're praying that the actual people would get saved, to do a transition, right? I know a lot of people don't really understand how sometimes how God works, but God works in things that seem coincidental or seem ironic. I like to look at it as God's poetic. I call it almost like a poetic irony, because God writes stories. He's the writer, he's the author. Bible says he's the author and finisher of our faith, but not only that, but he's the author of our story, right? Because he's there, he knows what it is, he's writing it down, especially for those that love him. So he's leading us down a certain path, right? And he's writing this wonderful story of love, and we didn't even realize it at the time. I think by the time we had realized it, after like praying for each other for so long,
Yeah.
actually, you know what? Let me say this before I go there. There was a time where right before the Lord had opened my heart, right, and I believe opened her heart, and we were praying for each other, and I think you brought it up earlier, but I came to that point where I accepted the things that weren't for me. Like, I mean, sorry, what I mean is I accepted the fact that I wasn't gonna get the things I wanted because they weren't for me. So I came to that realization, like, God doesn't want this thing for me. So, okay, God, I accept that you don't want this for me. And, well, what do you want for me? And that's when my prayer changed, right? I changed my prayer. So I no longer started to pray for something that I knew that God didn't want. Instead, I started to pray for a wife. So I didn't pray for, God, I want this person to be my spouse, or I want that person to be my spouse, or I said, God, listen, I'm not asking for anything that you don't want to give me, but what I'm asking for is simply my wife. And I started to pray that prayer, and that was like, I think that was during the summer as well.
Yeah.
So I was still praying that prayer, and I think around that time you started to pray a similar prayer as well.
Yeah. So I came to ending that old relationship, and right after that, I prayed to the Lord the same thing, like, God, like, can you just bring me who my husband's supposed to be? And it's so, like my husband saying, ironic that I was praying the exact same prayer that he was praying, not knowing that he was praying that, never talked to him about that. And so I was praying the same thing, and the Lord just had it that eventually our hearts were open towards each other.
Yeah. But hold on. Yeah, she's right. But there's a part that I wanna bring up. So I think when our hearts started to turn to each other, there was a part. So like oh man, God is so amazing, because there was like a time. So and I identified what God was doing very early on, and I think she did too, but we're just not saying anything. And when she had ended her relationship, I had realized that she ended her relationship, and here's the funny thing. Hold on, I want to bring this part up. So one thing that she forgot to mention is that the person that she was in a relationship with, when she got saved and started to serve God, that person tried to trap her by getting engaged, right, to her. And well, that part's important, because remember, I guess the guy was trying to pretend to be a Christian or whatever, and we didn't bring that up. That's kind of the same thing that was happening to me. Like, the person that I was trying to be was trying to pretend to be a Christian, but they weren't really saved, and it was almost like a trap that the enemy wanted, like, to keep like pulling us in. So a lot of you that are listening, I want you to understand that the enemy will do that. He'll string you along to make you think like, yeah, I'm actually gonna be that person that you want, or that person that you believe is gonna be a godly person, and they're not trying to do that. Like, it's just a trick from the devil, where they're trying to trap you. And yeah, that's what happened to her. And I only brought it up to say that because when you were engaged, right, or whatever, and you ended the relationship, I seen that you didn't have a ring on your finger one time, and I was like, whoa. I was like, she doesn't have a ring on her finger. I'm like, what happened? And I wasn't even happy at that time. I was actually bothered by that. So I had went into prayer, and I started to fast even for her, because I was like, what happened, I start to fast because I was trying to like pray for, even though she was already praying something different, I was praying for her for that situation to still work. But you see, God had a different plan, and what started to happen was I started to realize not too long after that, like, well, wait a minute. I was like, well, given everything that's transpired, given everything that happened, given all the circumstances around everything, like we're trying to, force ourselves into a situation that God doesn't want, and we're praying for each other and all of this stuff, given all of that stuff, and now we're here, two friends that have become really good friends, praying for each other, talking to each other about the Bible and stuff like that. Not even thinking of anything like that.
No.
Right? At that time. We didn't, not even close. It didn't even cross my mind. And at that point, I had started to realize, I'm like, well, God, what are you doing? Like, and I had asked the Lord at that time, I said, well, Lord, like, based on what you're doing, like, is Danisha supposed to be my wife? Like, is Danisha my wife? Because I looked at everything, and at that time, God, the way that God used to talk to me especially at that time, and maybe he talks to a lot of you like this, he uses these ironic things to show me like he's in the details of it, right? Where he's like, yeah, I'm like, look, I'm actually, stringing this thing, or, moving this thing along, right? To show you that I'm actually in the details of this, right? Because I'm gonna give you something good. And I had realized, I knew that God had always been doing that, because like I'm self-employed, and God does that with me even through my business. He makes Christian people like sometimes when I didn't have money, I would pray to God, and God would make Christian people spend money with me, specifically large sums, so I would know that it was him, as opposed to if it was just something random where I got it from. I knew how God was talking to me, and I had realized, I said, well, God, I see what you're doing, and is this my wife? And I started to ask that question, and that's where kind of the time where my heart started to change, and I started to look at Danisha for the beautiful woman that she is, and I started to realize, I'm like, wow, God, like, if this is my wife, like, I don't know what to do. What am I gonna say right now? How am I gonna bring this, and I'm a guy that's not shy, right? But this was, a different kind of situation, because I wasn't in something like this where I was.
It's going to be like basically us almost like it's about marriage.
Well, yeah, it's about marriage, right? Because
marriage,
like, obviously, if I'm looking, if God is giving me something, then it's only something that's going to lead to marriage, right? So obviously, I was like, well, what's, what do you want me to do? How do I bring this up? And anyways, I guess you could. I don't know how.
Yeah, so I guess the main thing is, after everything had happened, and like he said, he saw that the ring was off, and we kind of realized that the Lord wanted us to go in that direction. I didn't really know right away, because, after everything happened, I was kind of just kind of focusing on the Lord, and, praying still for a husband, but not really knowing 100% if it was going to be, I never knew who it was going to be and who God was going to send me. But I think one moment in time, after, because obviously we're still friends, and certain things were happening, like coincidences, but I think the one time was when you told me, you're like, I think you're supposed to be my wife. And when he hold on. He said that, I was like, what? Like, I didn't even know what to say. I was actually speechless, because even though I was praying for a husband, I don't think I didn't know what to say, because it was just kind of like, even though we were friends, I don't think I still never thought of that anything would be that way. And when you said that to me, I think I was just like kind of caught off guard at the same time. And I was so like shocked, and I was just so like, I don't know, but the Lord had dealt with my heart, and he put my heart towards you. So like my heart was like, it's just, I can't explain exactly what's happening, but I felt like there was this like shift in my heart that the Lord was leading me to him as well, in terms of like,
hallelujah.
Yeah, it made my heart towards him. And then like So I knew that something was happening, but I just didn't really know 100% until he said, you know, like, I think you're supposed to be my wife. And it was just it was an awkward moment, but it was like a oh my gosh moment, and it was a scary moment, and it was everything all combined in one. And
yeah. Listen, I'm not trying to say right now, listen, I know people hear that thing where guys are probably like, hey, I think you're supposed to be my wife, and vice versa and whatever. But like, this was a situation where I wasn't just saying something to say something. I know a lot of times people say things to say things, or their desire for a specific person leads them to say, oh, well, I believe you're gonna be my wife. But the difference between me and a lot of those people that do that, men and women, is that I didn't have a desire for Danisha prior to realizing what God was doing. So when I had realized what God was doing, I wholly accepted it.
Yeah.
Right? Like I didn't have a desire outside of that. Like I didn't look at her. I looked at her as my sister in Christ, and I didn't look at her in any type of other way than that. And when I seen that what God was doing, then that's when I had to say, well, you know, God, if this is what it is, I'm gonna tell her, and then I'm gonna see how she responds, right? And obviously, when I had responded that way, and let her know, you know, she obviously had I guess felt somewhat of the same way, and from there we started to go. We went on dates, so we went on dates. And
well, we went on like 2 dates.
Well, yeah, we didn't go on a whole lot of dates, but we were seeing each other in school all the time, right?
Yeah.
Because we're in school, so we were literally seeing each other all the time in school. Yeah. We had classes together, and mind you, our friends weren't even. And this is we're talking about another semester, so this is not the summer semester. This was even another semester, and our friends weren't even there for that semester either. I
don't know what happened.
Like, our group of friends weren't there.
Yeah, maybe they
so like there. Some of them don't even know this story. So you guys are probably watching now, and yes, now you can find out. You have to watch the video, so you're finding out now exactly what happened.
Yes.
You know, after all those years, right? But COVID kind of messed it up and whatever. But yeah.
So after that happened, I think after you said that you
went to evangelism.
Yes, we went to an evangelism conference at a church. That was our first date. Like, actual date. And the second date that we had was I took you out for your birthday. No, we went to an Italian restaurant, I think, one time.
We went to we went to
a restaurant.
Yeah, we went to
around
Italian
the mall,
restaurant.
And
yeah,
then,
we went to an Italian restaurant.
So maybe 2 dates, and then the third.
And then we went to it was my birthday, and then you brought me to.
I brought him to like a place where you can just do like games and stuff, and then
escape room. She brought me to an escape room.
Yes.
Because I was playing. See how thoughtful she was. She was. I was playing. That escape room game on the Google App Store, and she knew I was playing it, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm just playing this escape room game all the time, and like, it's so cool. You have to figure out the puzzles.
So I surprised him with the escape room, and I surprised him with. Did we go to?
And listen, hold on. Before you go, we went to the listen. We went to the escape room, and listen. I don't know if you've ever been to an escape room, but listen, we went to the escape room, and guess what? We beat the escape room. I'm telling you, listen, when I beat the escape room, I was like, ah, man, God, listen. I was like, God brought me my wife. You guys don't even know. Listen, in my brain, I was like, listen, we just beat this escape room. That escape room was crazy. It was like, I can't remember the difficulty. It was like medium, or I don't know, but it was hard.
It was pretty hard.
It was pretty hard. And we still ended up beating it, just me and her. And I did most of the work, but she helped, right? She helped. And we won, and I was like, oh man, we did it. I'm like, God, you brought my helpmate. No. Jokes aside, no, but seriously, like, we beat an escape room. I don't know if you guys have been to escape room. Escape rooms are hard, and we beat it. And I was like, oh man, like, if I can coordinate this with her like this, and she's never been, and we can do this, I'm like, you know, I can only imagine the things that we could do together. I know it sounds crazy what I'm saying, but that's what I was thinking at the time, because escape rooms ain't easy. And yeah, we won. Why are you blushing so
Yeah,
much?
so no, I'm just saying, so after the
Yeah,
escape room, then we went to movie, I think, right? We went to movie for your birthday.
yeah. We went to see a movie and you fell asleep.
Yeah, so we went to the movie, and then after the movie, that's basically the amount of dates we went on.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
from
And
the
then
time,
we were planning. So during the time, hold on, during the time that we had started to date, which was a few months, we were already talking about getting married. Um,
yeah, once we knew that the Lord was putting
yeah,
us
yeah,
in each
yeah, yeah.
other's path.
We were already talking about like, we were already online. Even at school, we were at school. We are looking up like places that we could go to get married to, and I had an office at the time for my business, and she would come sometimes by the office, and like we would like go on we would go on the internet and look at like different places to get married to, like for like a destination wedding.
Yeah.
And
I think we should also tell our wedding story. Well, we don't
yeah,
really
yeah,
have
yeah,
a
yeah. No,
wedding
I was gonna tell the story,
Okay,
but yeah,
yeah.
we were looking up destination weddings, and we were looking up destination weddings because we were already planning to get married. I think anybody that's courting, well, when you're courting to get married, right? Like, I don't think
Yeah.
Christians should be just dating. My, Danisha knew instantly once we entered the dating sphere, if you want to call it that. Like, I was looking to marry her right away. Like, it wasn't like, hey, well, let me see. I was like, if I'm gonna date you, chances are
We're
I'm gonna
dating to
marry
marry,
you,
yeah.
or like you would have to do something that's crazy out of line. At least that's how I look at it. Like, in order for me not to marry you, right? Like, that's, it's like the betrothal period in the days of Christ, and even before that, right?
We ended up inviting our, immediate family. So it was a really small wedding. We probably had only about like 10, 15 people there max, not even. And then, so we got married at the church. And after we got married,
Yeah, my dad did the wedding for us.
yeah, and after we got married is when COVID actually ended up happening. So either way, we would have not been able to do the destination wedding.
Yeah, exactly.
Because COVID was a shutdown and everything happened. So the Lord knew kind of how everything would have played out anyways, even though we didn't know.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but it worked out for us.
Yeah, so, following the leading of the Lord is so important, because if we had delayed it, we would have probably not got married.
Yeah.
Until maybe 2022.
Not 2022. 2022 is just like last year.
Yeah, but that's when everything was like fully open, right?
I guess.
Well, yeah, remember, it was like on and off, right? Like 2021 was like open, and then it was closed, and it was open, and it was closed, and then they weren't even letting people leave, and like, you had to like, some people had
remember,
to
but we did go to Mexico during COVID.
Yeah, but that was quickly, and remember, that was before they locked down. We're from Canada, by the way, so like, I don't know if you guys know like Canada and the situation with the vaccine. I shouldn't know if I should say that the vaccine. But yeah, they didn't want to let anybody the vaccine, right? Anyways, but yeah, they didn't want to let anybody leave the country or for that reason, and so we wouldn't have been going anywhere, and our family wouldn't have been going anywhere, and no one would have been able to do anything. No. And we wouldn't have been able to have the wedding we wanted, and we would have been incredibly delayed. And yeah, so I believe that even in that, we followed the leading of the Lord, and it worked out for us. And now we have two beautiful kids. We have a wonderful marriage. Since then, we graduated. So she has a master's degree, and I have a bachelor's degree. Listen, she has degrees like crazy, so I'm not even worried about her. But yeah, since then, we we had so much, and we're in a happy marriage. And I hope this encourages everybody, just following the leading of the Lord. Yes. When God presents you your spouse, because one of the things is that I believe that a lot of times people have God sends someone their spouse, but then they refuse what God sends them. And you always have to remember that God sends you a good thing. And no matter what you think, he's sending you. He doesn't send you, he's not going to send you. He's a good father. He doesn't give you something that you didn't ask for. So if you're asking for a wife, he knows he's going to give you a good one. And things are not perfect, mind you, but things are exactly how God wants it to be.